అంటే మనం పర్చేస్ చేసినప్పుడు బిల్ నెంబర్ ఉంటుంది కదా, ఆ బిల్ నెంబర్ ఇక్కడ ఇవ్వాలన్నమాట. సో ఎంత బిల్ నెంబర్ 50, డేట్ 1st April. ఓకే, సో ప్లీజ్ స్టూడెంట్స్ ఇక్కడ కొంచెం జాగ్రత్త చేయండి. ఇక్కడ రైట్ సైడ్ అబోవ్ ఏదైతే ఉందో ఇక్కడ రైట్ సైడ్ ఇది మనం ఏమంటాము అంటే ఎంట్రీ డేట్ అనమాట. ఓకే, ఇక్కడ ఏదైతే మీకు డేట్ కనపడుతుందో అది బిల్ డేట్ అనమాట. సో ఈ రెండు ఎందుకు ఇచ్చాడు అంటే ఇదేమో మనం ఏ రోజు ఎంట్రీ చేస్తున్నాము. ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ మనము ఒక డిఫరెంట్ డిస్టిక్, ఒక వేరే డిస్టిక్ నుండి కానీ వేరే స్టేట్ నుండి కానీ మనం పర్చేస్ చేసాము. ఓకే, సపోజ్ వీఆర్ గెట్టింగ్ మెటీరియల్ ఫ్రమ్ బెంగళూరు. ఓకే, సో బెంగళూరులో ఒకటే రోజులో రీచ్ అవ్వవు కదా మన స్టాక్. సో బెంగళూరుకు 2 days, మ్యాక్సిమం 2 days or మ్యాక్సిమం 3 days స్టాక్ రీచ్ అవుతుంది. సో తను ఏ రోజు చేస్తాడు, మనం ఏదైతే ఆర్డర్ పెట్టామో ఆ ఆర్డర్ని బేస్ చేసుకొని ఆ రోజు డిస్పాచ్ చేస్తాడు. అంటే సపోజ్ he is dispatching material on 1st April, but we will receive stock on 3rd April, right? సో మనం ఎప్పుడు ఎంట్రీ చేస్తాము, 3rd April రోజు ఎంట్రీ చేస్తాం. సో 3rd April ఇక్కడ ఉంటుంది, బట్ బిల్ ఏ రోజు చేశాడు తను 1st Aprilకి చేశాడు. సో ఆల్రెడీ ఎంట్రీ డేట్ కన్నా ఇది ముందు ఉండాలి, ఎంట్రీ డేట్ కన్నా తర్వాత ఉంటే తీసుకోదు. అంటే ఎంట్రీ డేట్ ఏప్రిల్ ఉండి బిల్ డేట్ 2nd April ఎట్లా ఉంటుంది, ఛాన్స్ లేదు కదా. అంటే మనం ఎంట్రీ చేస్తుందేమో 1st April, కానీ బిల్ డేట్ ఏమో 1st April కన్నా ముందు ఉంటుంది, కానీ 1st April తర్వాత ఉండదు. అంతేనా? ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ ఐఎమ్ టేకింగ్ ఎస్ టు 2nd April, సి ఇట్ ఈస్ నాట్ టేకింగ్, ద స్క్రీన్ ఈస్ నాట్ యాక్సెప్టెడ్. ఐఎమ్ టేకింగ్ 1st April, it is accepting. ఐఎమ్ టేకింగ్ ఆన్ 31st March also it is accepting. 31st March 18 it is accepting, బికాస్ మన ఎంట్రీ డేట్ ఏమో 1st April ఉంది, కానీ బిల్ డేట్ ఏమో 31st March ఉంది. ఇట్ ఈస్ పాసిబుల్. అంటే 31st రోజు తను మనకి మెటీరియల్ పంపించాడు, మనం దాన్ని 1st Aprilకి ఎంట్రీ చేసాం. ఇట్ ఈజ్ పాసిబుల్. కానీ ఇలా పాసిబుల్ ఉంటుందా మనకేమన్నా? ఏప్రిల్లోనేమో మనము మెటీరియల్ తెచ్చుకొని 2nd Aprilకి బిల్లింగ్ చేయడానికి పాసిబిలిటీ ఉండదు కదా. సో అందు గురించి ఈ రెండు ఇచ్చాడు అనమాట. సో ద రైట్ కార్నర్ వాట్ ఎవర్ సీయింగ్ హియర్, దట్ ఈస్ ఎంట్రీ డేట్. వాట్ ఎవర్ ద డేట్ యు ఆర్ సీయింగ్ హియర్ ఈజ్ బిల్ డేట్. ఓకే, పార్టీ నేమ్ ఎవరి దగ్గర కొన్నాము, గోద్రేజ్. సెలెక్ట్ గోద్రేజ్. సో ఇక్కడ డీటెయిల్స్ అన్నీ ఇస్తామంట. ఆర్డర్ ఏమైనా ఆర్డర్ ఉంటే ఆర్డర్ రిఫరెన్స్ నెంబరు, ఓకే, సప్లై అడ్రసెస్. మీరు గోద్రేజ్కి ఆల్రెడీ సప్లై ఆర్డర్ ఇచ్చి ఉంటే ఆర్డర్ ఆటోమేటిక్గా అడ్రస్ అన్నీ వచ్చేస్తుంది అనమాట ఇక్కడ. ఓకే, పర్చేజ్ అకౌంట్, పర్చేజ్, నేమ్ ఆఫ్ ద ఐటమ్, వాట్ ఎవర్ పర్చేసింగ్, అల్మారా. ఓకే, సో ఇక్కడ ట్రాకింగ్ నెంబర్ ఏమైనా వస్తే నాట్ అప్లికబుల్ అని పెట్టేసండి. నాట్ అప్లికబుల్. క్వాంటిటీ, వాట్ ఈస్ ద క్వాంటిటీ ఇస్ 10. ఓకే, వాట్ ఈస్ 2500. ఓకే, రైట్. సో ఇంకొకటి మళ్ళీ నెక్స్ట్ ఐటమ్ ఉంది, అల్మారా, చైర్స్ ఉంది. ఇప్పుడు చైర్స్ అని కొట్టాగానే నాకు ఇంకో స్క్రీన్లోకి వెళ్తుంది. ఈ స్క్రీన్ ఎందుకు వెళ్తుంది, ట్రాకింగ్ నెంబర్ అని ఎందుకు ఉంది, ఇవన్నీ ఎందుకు వస్తున్నాయంటే ఇక్కడ ఎఫ్లైన్ ఫీచర్స్లో మనకి సేల్స్ ఆర్డర్స్, పర్చేజ్ ఆర్డర్స్ అనేది ఎస్ ఉంది. ఆ సేల్స్ ఆర్డర్స్, పర్చేజ్ ఆర్డర్ ఉన్నప్పుడు కంపల్సరీ ఆర్డర్ అగెనెస్ట్గా మనకు వస్తుంది కాబట్టి అది మనకి ఆర్డర్ అడుగుతుంది అనమాట. సో టాలీ విల్ బీ ఆస్కింగ్ ఫర్ ఆర్డర్ డీటెయిల్స్ బికాజ్ యూ హ్యావ్ యాక్టివేటెడ్ హియర్ ఆర్డర్స్. సో against that order you are getting the material. So that is the reason whenever you are selecting the item it is asking for order. See, now I have deactivated that order. So rightly now you can see that the cursor is going to quantity and rate column, right? Chairs, the 250, rate is also 250, right? So ఇందాక మీరు అబ్జర్వ్ చేసినట్టయితే మనము ఎప్పుడైతే క్వాంటిటీ సెలెక్ట్ చేసుకుంటామో, క్వాంటిటీ సెలెక్ట్ చేసుకోగానే అది ఇంకొక స్క్రీన్లోకి వెళ్ళేసి అది ఏ ఆర్డర్ అగెనెస్ట్గా వచ్చిందని డీటెయిల్స్ అడిగింది. ఎందుకు అడిగింది అంటే మనము ఏం చేస్తాము, అక్కడ ఆర్డర్ డీటెయిల్స్ యాక్టివేట్ చేసాం కాబట్టి అడుగుతుంది. ఇప్పుడు దాన్ని డీయాక్టివేట్ చేశాను నేను. సో ఆ సేల్స్ ఆర్డర్, పర్చేస్ ఆర్డర్ మన సపరేట్ క్లాస్ ఉంటుంది, అక్కడ మనం డిస్కస్ చేసాం వీటి గురించి. ఓకేనా? నో టేబుల్స్, వాట్ ఈస్ 25, అమౌంట్ ఈస్ 5000. ఓకే, సో 2,12,500 ఈస్ టోటల్ అమౌంట్. సో దీనికి వల్ల అడిషనల్ మీకు ఏమైనా ట్రాన్స్పోర్టేషన్, పర్చేజెస్, సేల్స్ అవి ఉంటే కూడా యాడ్ చేసుకోవచ్చు, లేదా సపరేట్గా చేసుకోవచ్చు. సో ద అడిషనల్ ఎక్స్పెన్సెస్ ఆన్ యువర్ ఇన్వాయిసెస్, సేల్స్ అండ్ పర్చేజెస్ ఆల్సో వీ హ్యావ్ సపరేట్ క్లాస్ ఫర్ దట్, we are going to see on that. Okay, if you want you can write bean goods purchased from Godrej. Okay na, bill number, wide bill number. Okay, సంథింగ్ రాసేయచ్చు. ఓకే, దిస్ ఇస్ ఫస్ట్. సెకండ్ వన్ ఈజ్ బాంటియా ఫర్నిచర్, రిఫరెన్స్ నెంబర్ ఈజ్ 105. సో రిఫరెన్స్ నెంబర్ ఈజ్ 105, party name is Bantiya Furniture, purchases, name of the item is sofa set, 5 numbers we have purchased, rate is 5000, right? Next one is sofa set, center table, the next item is center table, 10, 2500. Okay, the third one is display table, 5, 3500, 67500. Next 98, party name is Raj Furnitures, purchase account, item is bookshelf, quantity is 15, 3500. Again writing table, quantity is 100, 500. Okay, writing pad shades, 250, 300. So 1,77,500. Okay, so now sales is completed, purchase is completed. Purchase is completed. Now we are going to have the sales also. Sales he is giving. So reference number 1 means 1 invoice. And reference number 1. So if I go to F8 sales, reference number is 1. ఓకే, ఒక రిఫరెన్స్ నెంబర్ ఉందంటే అది ఒక ఇన్వాయిస్ అని అర్థం అనమాట. సో పార్టీ నేమ్ ఇస్ క్యాష్. ఓకే, ఇఫ్ యూ రైట్ హియర్ యూ కెన్ హ్యావ్ ద పార్టీ నేమ్. మిస్టర్ కుమార్, యూ కెన్ రైట్ కుమార్ అకౌంట్. ఓకే, సేల్స్, నేమ్ ఆఫ్ ద ఐటమ్ అల్మారా. ఓకే, క్వాంటిటీ ఎన్ని కొన్నాడు 2, రేట్ ఎంత 3750. Right, katam. Sorry, this is right. Now invoice number 1 is complete. Now invoice number 2. Okay, invoice number 2, party name is cash. Okay, item whatever selling chairs, any 15 number chairs ammamu, enta 400, 6000. Next is cash, తర్వాత టేబుల్ అమ్మాము, టేబుల్ ఎన్ని 5, 6250. Okay, next Z Solutions, select the party name Z Solutions. ఏమేమి అమ్మాము జీ సొల్యూషన్స్కి? అల్మారా అమ్మాము 5, 3500. మళ్ళీ చైర్స్ 50, 350. టేబుల్ 5. సో ఇప్పుడు అబ్జర్వ్ చేస్తే 6250 ఆటోమేటిక్ ఎందుకు వచ్చింది? ఎందుకంటే టాలీ ఏం చేస్తుందంటే ప్రీవియస్గా ఉన్న దేనికి అంటే ఎంత రేట్కి అయితే సేల్ చేస్తామో అది ఆటోమేటిక్గా వచ్చేస్తుంది. సో ఇక్కడ అబ్జర్వ్ చేసినట్టయితే ప్రీవియస్గా మనము చైర్ని టేబుల్ని 6250కి అమ్మాము. సో అందుకని లాస్ట్ ప్రైస్ 6250 ఉంది కాబట్టి ఆటోమేటెడ్ టైల్లో 6250 వచ్చేస్తుంది అనమాట. సో 65,000. సో ఇట్ ఈస్ 6000. గో అండ్ ఇట్ చేంజ్ ఫర్ 6000. నెక్స్ట్ వన్ ఈస్ అగైన్ పార్టీ నేమ్ క్యాష్. Sofa set 3, 6500. Center table 8, 4000. Display table 3, 5000. 66,500. Okay, right? So we have done with sale. Now sixth one is RRD college. We are selling to RRD college. Sales. RRD college ki bookshelf 14 mm 4500. Next writing table. 75 రేట్ రాలేదు, ఎందుకంటే అంతకుముందు మనం ఏం అమ్మలేదు కాబట్టి రేట్ రాలేదు. రైటింగ్ ప్యాడ్ చైర్స్ 225, 225, 450. నెక్స్ట్ చైర్స్ 150, 350 వచ్చింది, ఎందుకంటే ఆల్రెడీ ఆ రేట్ కమ్మాం కాబట్టి. నెక్స్ట్ టేబుల్స్ 15, 6,000. So 3,78,000, right? So 3,78,000 we have done. This is your invoice, right? సో మళ్ళీ ఇదే మీకు ప్రింట్ కావాలంటే, సో ప్రీవియస్ ఏమైనా కావాలంటే పేజ్ అప్ కొట్టేసి వచ్చేస్తుంది. సో ఆల్ టు పీ కొడితే విత్ ప్రివ్యూ అని సెలెక్ట్ చేసుకోండి, రైట్. సో దిస్ ఇస్ అ టాలీ ఫార్మాట్, దిస్ ఇస్ ద ఇన్వాయిస్ జనరేటర్ ఫర్ టాలీ ఫార్మాట్. సో ఇది జస్ట్ మీకు మా నార్మల్గా చూపించే ఫార్మాట్. ఇందులో అడిషనల్గా జిఎస్టీ వచ్చినప్పుడు ఇంకా మీకు ఇంకా చాలా బాగా అర్థమవుతుంది, ఎందుకంటే దిస్ ఇస్ ద ఇన్వాయిస్ వితౌట్ జిఎస్టీ. నౌ వీ హ్యావ్ టు మేక్ ద ఇన్వాయిస్ విత్ జిఎస్టీ. ఆ జిఎస్టీలో మళ్ళీ అడిషనల్ ఛార్జెస్ ఉంటే ఎలా చేయాలి, రేట్ కాలమ్ కావాలంటే ఏం చేయాలి, బ్యాంక్ కాలమ్స్ కానీ. సో ఇవన్నీ మనము ఇంకా పర్టికులర్ ఫర్దర్ క్లాసెస్లో ఇన్ డెప్త్గా వెళ్దాం. సో యాజ్ ఆఫ్ నౌ వీఆర్ గోయింగ్ టు హ్యావ్ దిస్ టైప్ ఆఫ్ invoice. Okay, the next one is cash paid toward transportation and purchase paid. Okay, FI payment, cash, transportation on purchases, transportation and purchases anta 2,500 khatam అయిపోయింది. నెక్స్ట్ ట్రాన్స్పోర్టేషన్ ఆన్ సేల్స్ 1,500, cash on sales amount is 1,500. Okay, నెక్స్ట్ వన్ చెక్ రిసీవ్డ్ ఫ్రమ్ జీ సొల్యూషన్ F6 చెక్ అన్నాడు, సో కెనరా బ్యాంక్ సెలెక్ట్ చేసుకున్నాము. ఓకే, జీ సొల్యూషన్స్ ఎంత ఇచ్చాడు, 65,000 ఇచ్చాడు. ఓకే, సో అగైన్స్ రిఫరెన్స్ వస్తే సెలెక్ట్ చేసుకోండి. ఓకే, సో స్టూడెంట్స్ మీకు అగైన్స్ రిఫరెన్స్ ఇక్కడ వచ్చింది, సెలెక్ట్ చేసుకోండి. వెన్ యూ ఆర్ ప్రాక్టీసింగ్, ఇఫ్ యూ ఆర్ గెటింగ్ ఎనీథింగ్, దెన్ యూ కెన్ గో ఫర్ ఆన్ అకౌంట్ ఆల్సో. ఓకే, సో ఈ అగైన్స్ రిఫరెన్స్, ఈ అడ్వాన్స్, ఇవన్నీ మనకి బిల్స్ పేయబుల్ రిసీవబుల్స్ క్లాస్ ఉంటుంది, దానిలో మనం చెక్ చేస్తాం. ఓకేనా, రైట్. క్యాష్ పేడ్ టువర్డ్స్ ట్రాన్స్పోర్టేషన్ ఆన్ పర్చేజెస్ FI, క్యాష్ పేడ్ టువర్డ్స్ ట్రాన్స్పోర్టేషన్ ఆన్ పర్చేజెస్, ట్రాన్స్పోర్టేషన్ ఆన్ పర్చేజ్ 3,500. మళ్ళీ క్యాష్ పెట్టి ట్రాన్స్పోర్టేషన్ ఆన్ సేల్స్ 1,900. ఇక్కడ ఇది జాగ్రత్త ఉండండి. చెక్ ఇష్యూ టు బాంటియా ఫర్నిచర్ 65,000, బ్యాలెన్స్ డిస్కౌంట్ రిసీవ్డ్. సో బ్యాలెన్స్ అంటే బాంటియా, చెక్ ఇష్యూ టు బాంటియా ఫర్నిచర్. సో యాక్చువల్లీ బాంటియా ఫర్నిచర్కి మనం ఎంత పే చేయాలి, బాంటియా ఫర్నిచర్ వీ హ్యావ్ టు పే 67,500. కానీ మనం ఇక్కడ ఎంత పే చేస్తున్నాము, 65,000 పే చేస్తున్నాము. అంటే ఇంకా బ్యాలెన్స్ 2,500 is discount received. Okay, so here in this situation you have to post 2 entries, that is first payment. Okay, Canara Bank, Bantiya Furniture. So enta pay is 65,000. Okay, 65,000. Balance is discount annadu. Avuna, so discount is an adjustment entry, right? So we have to go for F7 journal. Okay, what is debit? Debit is Bantiya Furniture 2,500. Okay, credit is what? Discount received 2,500. Been discount received. Okay, right. Cash paid towards transportation on purchases, FI payment, cash, transportation on purchases, transportation purchases 2,000. Okay, transportation on sales, amount in the transportation on sales 1,000. Next, check received from RD College. Okay, F6 receipt, Canara Bank, ఆర్ఆర్డి కాలేజ్. సో 3 lakh ఆర్ఆర్డి కాలేజ్ నుంచి ఎంత రావాలి యాక్చువల్గా మనకి ఆర్ఆర్డి కాలేజ్ 3,78,000 రావాలి, బట్ 3 lakhs మనకి వచ్చింది, 3,70,000 వచ్చింది, ఇంకా 8,000 ఇస్ డిస్కౌంట్. సో 3,70,000. ఓకే, balance is discount. F7 journal. Okay, here RRD college is should be discount allowed should be debited, that is 8,000. Okay, discount RRD college should be credited. Okay, next, check issued to Godrej, nothing adjustment, FI payment, Canara Bank, check issued to Godrej ఎంత 2,12,500. ఓకే, నెక్స్ట్ చెక్ ఇష్యూ టు రాజ్ ఫర్నిచర్ బ్యాలెన్స్ డిస్కౌంట్. రాజ్ ఫర్నిచర్ చెక్ ఇష్యూడ్ అన్నాం, కెనరా బ్యాంక్. ఓకే, రాజ్ ఫర్నిచర్. సో మొత్తం యాక్చువల్ రాజ్ ఫర్నిచర్కి ఇందాక మనం ఏం చేసాము, 1,75,000 ఒక ఎంట్రీ వేసి డిస్కౌంట్ ఇంకొక ఎంట్రీ చేస్తాం. సో అలా కాకుండా కూడా మనం ఒకటే ఓచర్లో కూడా డిస్కౌంట్ ఎంట్రీ పాస్ చేయాలి, అదే ఓచర్లో పేమెంట్ ఎంట్రీ రెండు పాస్. బట్ ఇది ఎప్పుడు యూస్ చేయాలి అంటే టోటల్ బిల్ సెటిల్మెంట్. అంటే ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ 1 lakhs ఇప్పుడు ఇదే ఇన్వాయిస్ చూసినట్టయితే రాజ్ ఫర్నిచర్కి మనం ఎంత పే చేయాలి, 1,77,500, దానికి 1,75,000 పే చేస్తారు, అంటే ఆ బిల్ సెటిల్మెంట్ కంప్లీట్గా అయిపోయింది. సో అలాంటి అప్పుడు మాత్రమే ఇది యూజ్ చేస్తే కరెక్ట్ అనమాట. సో రాజ్ ఫర్నిచర్ ఎంత పే చేయాలి, 1,77,500 పే చేయాలి, అవునా. సో దానికి ఏం చేస్తున్నారు అన్న డిస్కౌంట్ పే, మనకి ఇక్కడ ఏమవుతుంది డిస్కౌంట్ పే చేస్తాం, సారీ వీఆర్ పేయింగ్ హిమ్, సో విల్ రిసీవ్ ద డిస్కౌంట్, రైట్. సో డిస్కౌంట్ రిసీవ్డ్ అని సెలెక్ట్ చేసుకొని మైనస్ చేయండి, -2,500. ఓకే, క్లియరా. సో ఈ విధంగా మీరు పోస్ట్ అంటే ఒకటే ఎంట్రీలు ఇలా కూడా చేయొచ్చు అనమాట. బట్ ఇది అంటే ఒక డిస్కౌంట్ ఎంట్రీ పేమెంట్ ఎంట్రీ ఒకటే దానిలో పోస్ట్ చేయాలి అంటే ఆ టోటల్ బిల్ సెటిల్మెంట్ ఉండాలి. అంటే టోటల్ ఇన్వాయిస్ 1,77,500, దానిలో 2,500 డిస్కౌంట్. సో టోటల్ ఉంది కాబట్టి పోస్ట్ చేయడానికి ఛాన్స్ ఉంటుంది. మీరు సపరేట్గా ఉన్నప్పుడు అంటే చేసే కొంచెం కన్ఫ్యూజన్ ఉంటుంది. ఓకే, సో బెటర్ 2 entries can be 2 discount entry and payment can be done only in 1 entry when the settlement is full. Okay, paid for salaries, cash salaries, amount 10,000. Okay, next tea and snacks, cash, staff welfare. What is the amount staff welfare? 2,500. Next, Shriram Chit Fund loans, Canara Bank, Shriram Chit Fund loans, ఎంత పే చేసినాం 2,50,000, sorry 2,50,000. Okay, next cash paid towards daily newspaper, cash daily newspaper books and periodicals అని క్రియేట్ చేసాము. సో 150 is the amount. Okay, so students, we have done all the entries. Now let's check the transactions. So first I'm going to profit and loss account, press Alt F1. See, you can see the gross profit 1,50,500. You can see the net profit 125,450. You can see the closing stock 61,750, 61,750, right. In balance sheet, come to balance sheet, press Alt F1 for full details. Here also you can see, okay, cash in hands, okay, bank account, cash account. So cash account balance ఎక్కువ ఎందుకు వచ్చింది something. So already college I have done with the cash. So it is bank, Canara Bank. Okay, now you can see the cash balance. Cash in hand is 236,700, 236,700. Bank accounts 4,82,500, 4,82,500. So this is the things we have done, right. Students, we have seen the total problem, right. అంటే ఒక కంప్లీట్గా మనం ప్రాబ్లం చెక్ చేసాము. అంటే గణపతి ఫర్నిచర్స్ ఒక ఫర్నిచర్ బిజినెస్ అనమాట. తన బిజినెస్లో నుండి మనం ఏమైతే చేసామంటే తన బిజినెస్లో ఫర్నిచర్స్ అమ్ముతాడు. సో ఫర్నిచర్ బిజినెస్ నథింగ్ బట్ చైర్స్, టేబుల్స్, ఇవన్నీ మనకి ఫర్నిచర్స్ సంబంధించినవి. ఆ బిజినెస్ ఒక ప్రాబ్లం తీసుకున్నాము. ఇందులో మీకు మనం ఇన్వెంటరీ చేసాము, ఓకేనా. అలా ఒక సింపుల్ మోడల్ సేల్స్ ఇన్వాయిస్ కూడా చూపించాను మీకు ఎలా ఉంటుంది ప్రివ్యూ అనేది, ఓకే. సో బ్యాలెన్స్ షీట్లో మనకి ఏవైతే ఆన్సర్స్ ఇచ్చాడో ఆ ఆన్సర్స్ కూడా మీకు కరెక్ట్గా చూపించాను. ఓకే. సో డిస్కౌంట్ ఎంట్రీ అంటే ఒక ట్రాన్సాక్షన్లో డిస్కౌంట్ కూడా ఉంటే డిఫరెంట్గా ఎలా చేయాలి అంటే పేమెంట్ సపరేట్గా డిస్కౌంట్ సపరేట్గా ఎలా పాస్ చేయాలి త్రూ జర్నల్ వాచర్ అది చూపించాను. అలాగే ఇప్పుడు 2 ఎంట్రీస్ పాస్ చేసే బదులు మనకి అంటే అనవసరంగా ఒక వోచర్ టైం వేస్ట్ వోచర్ ఎంట్రీ చేయాలి. ఓకేనా. సో దాన్ని మళ్ళీ ప్రింట్ తీయాలి. సో టు సేవ్ ద స్టేషనరీ టు సేవ్ ద టైమ్ వర్క్ సో హౌ టు డూ the payment and discount entry or receipt or discount entry in one invoice also in one voucher also I have showed you. So మీరు అప్పుడప్పుడు అబ్జర్వ్ చేసి ఉండాలి. రాసి ఉంటే అమౌంట్ ఇంత మైనస్ డిస్కౌంట్ అని రాసేసి మనకి పేమెంట్ చేస్తాం. సో అదే విధంగా మన వోచర్లో కూడా చేయొచ్చు. బట్ ఇది ఎప్పుడు యూస్ చేస్తామంటే ద సెటిల్మెంట్ షుడ్ బి ఫుల్. అంటే ఇప్పుడు 1 lakh బిల్ అమౌంట్ 1 lakh ఉంది. ఆ 1 lakhకి 95,000 వచ్చింది, 5,000 ఇంకా మొత్తం డిస్కౌంట్ అని కరెక్ట్గా తెలిసినప్పుడు మనం పాస్ చేయొచ్చు ఎంట్రీ. సో ఒకసారి ఈ 1 lakhకి ఒకసారి 20,000 ఇచ్చి ఒకసారి 30,000 ఇచ్చి అట్లా అయినప్పుడు కొంచెం చేయడం కొంచెం కష్టం అవుతుంది. సో ట్రాకింగ్ విల్ బి డిఫికల్ట్. సో అందుకే అలాంటి సిచ్యుయేషన్ అంటే ఒకటే బిల్ అప్పుడే పేమెంట్ ఇచ్చేస్తేనేమో ఒకటే వోచర్లో చేయొచ్చు. బట్ ఆ 1 lakh బిల్నే ఒకసారి 30,000 ఇచ్చి ఒకసారి 25,000 ఇచ్చి ఒకటి పార్ట్లో పేమెంట్ ఇచ్చినప్పుడు మీరు కొంచెం డిస్కౌంట్ చేయడం ప్రాబ్లం అవుతుంది. సో ఇన్ దట్ సిచ్యుయేషన్ ప్లీజ్ డోంట్ గో ఫర్ ద సింగిల్ వోచర్. ఓకే, యూ క్యాన్ గో ఫర్ జనరల్ వోచర్. So in today's class we have seen all these types of solutions with inventory. Okay, in tomorrow's class we are going to see some other classes like how to make the sales invoices, sales orders, purchase orders, etc. Okay, after completing some reports we are going to come with the GST classes also. So students, for today have a nice day. Tomorrow we will meet in the next class.
Start. Hi everyone. First of all, heartily welcomes you Google IT Support Certification course. Let me introduce myself. My name is Ravindra Suddala. I am working as a IT engineer from past 5.5 years. In this session we will going to discuss introduction to the computers, that is nothing but computer and hardware components and functionality. Okay, let's start the session. First we have to start with the introduction to the computers. Why we need to learn about computers? What is the importance of computers? Why we are using computers? Let's discuss little bit about computers. Computers are became a very important in our daily lives. No one cannot expect or else imagine without computers in our day-to-day human life. Computers are became a very important in our daily lives. What is the general meaning of computer? What is the meaning of computer? What is computer? Computer is an electronic device which takes input through the input devices, process it and gives output through the output devices. Understood? Computer is an electronic device which takes input through the input devices, process it and gives output through the output devices, called as a computer. Computers are generally used to calculate, process and store the information for further assistance. Let's discuss about computers and computer hardware platform. Okay, let's see. This is the basic definition for computers. Computer is an electronic device which takes input through the input devices, process it and gives output through the output devices. What is the main purpose to using computers in our day-to-day human life? To store our personal data. So that reason computers are mainly used to store. Okay, computers are used to store data for further assistance. Moreover, computers will be going to work with zero sign ones is called as a binary language. We are humans. To communicate with each other, we are using our language. That language is regional language. It might be Telugu or else Hindi or else Urdu or else some other language. But computers will be going to work with zero sign ones language. That language is called as a binary language. For example, one user from desktop, he would like to give input instructions which is apple or as 2 plus 3 or as some other instructions. Given input instructions will be going to convert into zero sign ones. Why? Because computers unable to understand our regional languages such as Telugu or English or some other languages. So that reason, whenever user try to give input instructions, that given input instructions will be going to converted into the binary language. That language is zeros or ones. So that reason, computers will be going to work with binary language or else digital language. Like all electronic devices, computers work with DC power supply. Any electronic device which will be going to work with a DC power supply. Generally, electric charges are two types. Number one is alternating current. Number two is direct current. What is the general meaning of alternating current? The flow of electric charge will be going to periodically reverses the direction is called as a alternating current. The sources to produce alternating currents are power plants. This will be distributed to the residences and businesses. Another type of electric charge which is called as a direct current. What is this direct current? The flow of electric charge will be going to in a unidirectional is called as a direct current. The sources to produce direct current is batteries, solar panels or else generators which are working with fuel. This is direct current. Electric charges are two types, alternating current and direct current. So all electronic devices will be going to uses or else consumes or else work with direct current. This is basic introduction to the computers. Right, what you understood in this slide. Computer is an electronic device which takes input through the input devices, process it and gives output through the output devices is called as a computers. In day-to-day human life, we are using mobiles. Mobile also one type of computers. Desktop also one type of computer. Laptop, servers, all these are generally called as a computers. Computers are presented everywhere in our human life. Let's see the block diagram of computer. These computers are furtherly categorized into three units. Those units are number one, input unit. Number two is central processing unit. The central processing unit is furtherly classified into three types. Those are generally called as a ALU unit, control unit and memory. Third unit from computer is output unit. Let's discuss little bit about block diagram of computer. Computers will be going to divided in the form of three units. Those units are input unit, central processing unit and third one is output unit. What is the general meaning of input unit? In computer, best example to understand input unit is take example of desktop. In desktop you can able to see the some devices. Those devices are physical devices. Those devices is called as a keyboard, mouse or some other devices. What is the best example to understand input unit? Input unit is nothing but keyboard or else mouse or else mic or else generally we are using games by using joysticks, that is nothing but gaming console. These devices are comes under input unit. Whenever any user from computer want to give input instructions, he has to use input devices. Given input instructions will be going to transfer to the central processing unit. Second unit from computer is central processing unit. The central processing unit is furtherly classified into three logical units. Those units are ALU, arithmetic logical unit. What is the role and responsibility of ALU? ALU is responsible to perform some functions. Those functions are arithmetic functions. Arithmetic functions is nothing but plus, minus, into, divided by. And ALU is responsible to perform logical functions also, less than, greater than, percentile, dollar related functions. So that reason ALU, arithmetic logical unit, first logical unit from CPU, is responsible to perform some functions. Those functions are arithmetic logical functions. Coming to second logical unit from CPU is control unit. This control unit is generally called as a processor chip or else processor unit. Given input instructions will be processed by processor chip. The processor chip will be going to located in control unit. Coming to third logical unit of CPU is memory. Best example to understand memory is RAM and ROM. This is CPU, central processing unit. Last unit from computer is output unit. Best example to understand output unit is monitor, projector, speakers. All these are comes under output unit. Let's take an example. One user is working in front of one desktop. In order to give input instructions, he has to use input devices. Given input instructions will be going to transfer to the central processing unit. With the help of ALU, control unit and memory, central processing unit will be going to process given input instructions. After processing given input instructions will be going to deliver by using output unit. That unit is nothing but monitor or projector or speaker or some other device. What about printer? Printer is output unit or input unit. Printer is always output unit. Given input instructions will be delivered through printer. So that reason printer comes under output unit. For example, I have a clarification. I need some clarification from you. We have one device. That device is called as a fax machine, right? Everybody much familiar with fax machine. Fax machine is input device or output device. Fax machine will be going to work as a input unit as well as it will be going to work as a output unit. For example, I would like to send one document, scan copy of document to my brother who is living in California. In my location, fax machine will be going to work as a input unit. It will be going to take that document copy. Whenever I would like to send the document scan copy to my brother in my brother location, in his location fax machine will be going to act as a or else work as a output unit. So that reason fax machine will be going to work as a input device as well as output device. I hope you guys are understood about block diagram of computer. Let's see the basic hardware components of computers. What are the components of computer? Most of the students or else most of the technical service, most of the people are much confused with basic hardware components of computers. What are the components of computer? In computer, how many components are available? So many components and physical devices are available in computers. Let's take a look about computer hardware components. Basic or common hardware components of computer is number 1 is motherboard, number 2 processor, number 3 is primary storage devices such as RAM, random access memory, ROM, read only memory. Fourth basic hardware component of computer is secondary storage devices. Best example to understand secondary storage devices are HDD, hard disk drive, optical drives, CD-ROM, that is nothing but CDs, DVDs. Third one is secondary storage device, floppy disk. Generally we are using pen drives, USB pen drives, right? Those are generally called as a floppy disk, or else floppy disks are different type of disk. It contains reel which is covered with magnetic coating, floppy disks. Now fourth component of computer is SMPS, switched mode power supply. Fifth component of computer is input devices. Input devices is nothing but keyboard, mouse. Output devices or monitor. These are the basic hardware components of computers. Number 1 is motherboard, number 2 processor, number 3 primary storage devices, RAM and ROM. Fourth component of computer is secondary storage devices, HDD, optical drives, CD, DVDs, floppy disk drives. Fifth component is SMPS, switched mode power supply. Sixth component is input devices, and last one is output devices. These are the basic hardware components of computers. Let's discuss one by one component of computer in detail. Before going to talk about basic hardware components of computers, just take a look about different types of computers. There are different types of computers are using in day-to-day human life. First type of computers are supercomputers. These supercomputers are generally used in research and development departments. research and development departments such as NASA, ISRO will be going to use as first type of computers. Those computers are called as a supercomputers. Supercomputers are generally used for weather forecasting purpose, or else nuclear weapon testing, or else supercomputers are generally used to different purposes by research and development department. Second type of computers are mainframe computers. Best example to understand mainframe computers are generally used by large size organizations such as banks, or else insurance companies, or else universities. This type of organizations need huge amount of storage capacity. So that reason they will going to use special type of computers. Those computers are generally called as a mainframe computers. Third type of computers are mini computers. Mini computers are generally called as a mid-range computers. Mid-range computers are generally used to monitor production process in some organizations. Those organizations are production organizations like Coca-Cola, Pepsi, or some of the soap manufacturing companies. Fourth type of computer is mini computers. Fourth type of computers are generally called as a microcomputers. Microcomputers are generally used for individual purposes or as business purposes. Those computers are laptops, desktops, or some other devices. Clear? These are the four types of computers. Or as one more type of computer is there, unprofessional type of computers. Those computers are embedded computers. Embedded computers are micro ovens, washing machines. These are generally called as a embedded computers. And also generally we are using calculator. Calculator also generally called as a embedded computers. These are the different type of computers which are used in day-to-day human life. Now coming to the session, first component of computer is processor. Processor is a component. Processor is a main component of computer. What is this processor? If someone is asking about processor, how you will going to define? Processor is a component, or else processor is a machine. It will be going to process given input instructions. That is called as a processor. It is a brain of a computer. Processors are generally called as a brain of a computer. Why we are addressing computer is a brain of a computer? Just take example, human body. In our human body, one component, one part, that part is brain. Human brain is controlling and managing total human body. For example, if we are feeling hungry, that hungry feelingness, that information will be going to received by human brain. Immediately it will be going to assign some task to the human senses such as hands or eyes. That is nothing but pull up your purse and check it out money. If money is available in purse, immediately brain will be going to assign one task to the some other senses to thinking about nearby area hotels to fulfill hungriness. That is nothing but total human body is managing and controlling by human brain. The same way all computer system will be going to managed and controlled by processor. That is called as a computing power. So that reason processors are generally called as a brain of a computer. One of the most component in computer is processor. Processor is generally called as a semiconductor device. Why we are calling processor is a semiconductor device? Processor contains many nano copper wires. That is nothing but processor is a collection of many nano copper wires. Very small copper wires are used to manufacture processor. So that reason it is called as a semiconductor device. In technical terminology, processor is generally called as a monolithic integrated circuits. Those monolithic integrated circuits are located on one plate. That plate is called as a silicon plate. The silicon plate is nothing but processor or else processor chip. Processor contains the complete CPU, central processing unit, in single chip. That is nothing but microprocessor chip. Processor, first component from computer. Processor is generally used to perform some functions. Those functions are arithmetic and logical functions. Earlier we discussed about arithmetic and logical functions. This is first component from computer is processor. Let's see processor specifications. What is the general meaning of processor specification? Processor specification is nothing but processor configuration. For example, as a user, I would like to purchase one computer. The computer such as laptop or desktop. In order to purchase any computer which is laptop or desktop, first I must have basic knowledge on computer configuration. What is the general meaning of computer configuration? Computer configuration is nothing but computer RAM memory, computer storage capacity from hard disk drive, and processor speed. Apart from computer RAM size or its RAM memory and storage capacity of hard disk drive, remaining part of computer comes under processor specifications. Processor specification is nothing but processor configuration. Including processor configuration and RAM memory and storage capacity of hard disk drive is generally called as a computer configuration. First, we have to discuss processor specification. Processor specifications are nothing but processor speed. First specification of processor is speed. For example, I would like to purchase one laptop. Definitely I will going to visit one store. On the store, I would like to select one particular laptop from manufacturer and different manufacturers like HP or Dell. Before purchasing laptop or computer, first we need to check the processor speed. Why? Because computer performance and data processing speed will be going to depends on processor speed. Along with processor speed, computer performance and data processing speed will be going to depends on RAM memory as well as type of hard disk drive. So that reason, as a user, first we need to understand computer performance and data processing speed will be going to depends on processor speed, RAM memory, and storage capacity of hard disk drive. So that reason, to purchase high-end configuration laptops, first we need to think about processor speed. Processor speed will be going to measures in hertz. Hertz is nothing but cycle per second. For example, my computer processor speed is 3.4 gigahertz speed, or else my laptop processor speed is 1.4 gigahertz speed. What is the general meaning of 1.4 gigahertz speed from processor? Processor speed will be going to measures in hertz. 1 hertz is equal cycle per second. What is the general meaning of cycle? What is the meaning of cycle? Why we need to use cycles from processor speeds? For example, one user from computer, he would like to give input instruction which is 2 plus 3. Definitely we will going to use input devices such as keyboard or mouse. One user has gave a input instruction that is 2 plus 3. Given input instructions will be going to transfer to the CPU, central processing unit. That is nothing but computer processor. To understand given input instructions, computer CPU will be going to convert the normal form of given input instructions into binary form, that is nothing but zeros and ones. User has gave 2 plus 3 input instructions. Given input instructions will be going to converted into the binary language, it is zeros and ones. For example, 2 plus 3 input instructions is converted to the 8 bits. 8 bits is nothing but 001 0010. How many bits are there? 8 bits. For example, given input instructions 2 plus 3 has converted to binary language. After conversion process, that information is available in the form of 8 bits. Those bits are 001010. In this case, computer processor is responsible to process each bit calculation. Processor will be going to use one cycle to calculate 1 bit calculation. That is nothing but computer processor will be going to use one cycle to execute 1 bit calculation. Earlier, user has gave a 2 plus 3 input instructions. Given input instructions is converted to 8 bits. In this case, processor is responsible to process given input instructions that is available in the form of 8 bits. Processor will be going to use 8 cycles to execute 8 bit calculation. That is nothing but processor required 8 cycles to process given input instruction that is available in the form of 8 bits. Earlier I said my laptop processor speed is 1.4 gigahertz speed. What is the general meaning of gigahertz? 1 cycle per second is nothing but 1 hertz. In simple words, 1 hertz is equal 1 cycle per second. 1000 cycles per second is nothing but 1 kilohertz. 1 million cycles per second is nothing but 1 megahertz. 1 billion cycles per second is equal 1 gigahertz speed. What you understood? If I purchase one laptop, the laptop processor speed is 1.4 gigahertz speed. How many cycles are available per second on the laptop processor? 1.4 billion cycles per second. In this case, my laptop processor speed is very fast. This processor is generally used for day-to-day human life. Means for individual purpose, we can able to use laptop. The laptop processor speed is 1.4 gigahertz speed. That is highly enough. You can able to expect minimum processor speed is 1.0 gigahertz speed. In the day-to-day laptops, generally using laptops, maximum speed from processor is 4.0 gigahertz speed or 4.2 gigahertz speed. Especially 4.2 gigahertz speed processors are available in AMD processors. I hope you guys are understood about processor speed. First specification of processor is speed. Speed will be going to measures in hertz. Hertz is nothing but 1 hertz is equal 1 cycle per second. 1 kilohertz is equal 1000 cycles per second. 1 megahertz is equal 1 million cycles per second. 1 gigahertz is equal 1 billion cycles per second. If I purchase one laptop, the laptop processor speed is very minimum. That minimum is 1.4 gigahertz speed. That is highly enough to use our individual purposes. Coming to business purpose laptops, laptop processors must have at least 3.0 gigahertz speed. Maximum you can able to expect processor speed from day to day using laptops, that is nothing but 4.0 or 4.2 gigahertz speed. This is the first specification of processor. Second specification of processor is width. This processor width is generally called as a processor architecture, or else processor width is nothing but processor capacity. Processor capacity is generally nothing but processor architecture. Processor architecture will be going to measures in bits. If I purchase laptop, that laptop processor architecture is 32-bit or a 64-bit. We can able to check the processor architecture by using different commands. What are those commands to check the computer processor architecture? We have to use one command. That command is dxdiag. dxdiag. In your desktop, open run command. In the run, type dxdiag. By executing this command, you can able to get one window on desktop of your computer. On that window, you can able to check it out computer configuration. Under that computer configuration, you can able to check the processor architecture. If your laptop or desktop processor architecture is 32-bit, it will be going to show 32-bit type PC. Or else, if your laptop processor architecture is 64-bit, it will be going to show the system type is 64-bit processor architecture, or else 86 or some other different type of processor architectures. For example, recently if I purchase one laptop, that laptop processor architecture is 32-bit. As a user of 32-bit processor architecture laptop, I would like to install one operating system. That operating system is Windows 7. That Windows 7 operating system OS bit is 64-bit. Can you able to install 64-bit operating system in 32-bit processor architecture computers? 100% no. 100% no. In order to install Windows 64-bit operating system or else any type of operating system which is 64-bit operating system, your processor architecture from laptop or desktop or computer should be 64-bit. I hope you guys are understood. Processor architecture. Processor architecture is nothing but processor width. Best example to understand 32-bit processor architecture and 64-bit processor architecture. Processor width will be going to measures in bits. Okay. What is the main difference between 32-bit processor architecture and 64-bit processor architecture? Computer performance and data processing speed. If you have laptop, the laptop processor architecture is 64-bit, definitely the computer performance is robust compared with 32-bit processor architecture computers. Okay, what is the general meaning of bits? Here in this measurement you can able to see the bits, 64 bits. What is the general meaning of bits? Bits is nothing but 0 or 1. Bit will be going to represent as a 0 or 1, is called as a binary language. 8 bits is equal to 1 byte. 1024 bytes is equal how much? 1 kilobyte, 1 KB. 1024 KB is equal how much? 1 MB. MB is nothing but megabyte. 1024 megabyte is equal 1 GB. 1024 GB is equal 1 terabyte. 1024 terabyte is equal 1 petabyte. 1024 petabytes is equal 1 hexabyte. 1024 hexabyte is equal 1 zettabyte. 1024 zettabyte is equal 1 yottabyte. Why we are discussing about bits? Generally, hard disk drive storage capacity will be going to measures in bits. That is nothing but bits will be going to represent as 0 or 1. 8 bits is equal 1 byte. 1024 bytes is equal 1 kilobyte. 1024 kilobytes is equal 1 megabyte. 1024 megabytes is equal 1 GB. 1024 GB is equal 1 terabyte. In our laptops or desktops, or else in day to day using computers, you can able to expect storage capacity from hard disk drive is terabytes. Understood? Don't go for storage capacity of hard disk drives. Here we are talking about specifications of processor. Second specification of processor is nothing but width. Width is nothing but processor architecture. Coming to third specification of processor architecture, that is nothing but FSB speed, front side bus. What is the general meaning of bus? In day to day human life we are using buses for transportation purpose. To reach our destinations we are using buses, right? That is transportation purpose buses. In the same way, computer will be going to use one special type of buses. Those buses are generally called as a data buses. What was that? Data buses. What is the general meaning of data bus? Data bus is nothing but communication system. Data bus is a communication system which is responsible to transfer data from one component to. Shall I take a break? No. Okay. I'm sorry for the disturbance. FSB speed. Third specification of processor is FSB speed, front side bus. Data buses. Bus is nothing but data bus. Data bus is nothing but communication system. In computer will be going to use as one special type of buses. Those buses are called as a data buses. What is the general meaning of data bus? Data bus is nothing but communication system which is used to transfer data from one component to another component. That is nothing but data buses are used in computer to transfer bits or information from one component to another component. That is called as a data bus. Coming to third specification of processor, that is FSB speed. What is the general meaning of FSB speed? FSB stands for front side bus. FSB speed is nothing but transportation speed of given input instructions from one component to another component is called as a FSB speed. Just take an example to understand FSB speed. For example, one user has gave a input instruction 2 plus 3 by using input devices. Given input instructions will be collected by one device, one component in the computer. The component is RAM. RAM is responsible to collect given input instructions. User has gave a input instructions 2 plus 3. Given input instructions will be collected by RAM. Collected input instructions will be going to transfer to the one more component in the computer. That component is processor. The transportation speed of collected input instructions from RAM to processor is called as a transportation speed. The transportation speed from one component to another component in the computer is nothing but FSB speed. FSB speed will be going to measures in hertz. Like processor speed, FSB speed also measures in hertz. FSB speed is nothing but the transportation speed of given input instructions from one component to another component within the computer is called as a FSB speed. Measures in hertz. Probably you can able to expect maximum available Fsb speed from your computers, that is nothing but 100 megahertz or 200 megahertz, 300 or 400 or 500 megahertz. This is Fsb speed. Fourth specification of processor is cache memory. What is the general meaning of cache? Cache is nothing but frequently accessed instructions or data is called as a cache. I hope you guys are using laptops. In your laptop you can able to use one common application. That application is called as a browser. Browser is a web application. If I access to different websites by using internet connection in laptop, the frequently accessed instructions such as websites information www.microsoft.com, google.com, this frequently accessed instructions or else information or data will be going to stored in browser cache. Commonly it is called as a browser history. What was that? That is browser cache. What you understood cache meaning is, cache is nothing but frequently accessed instructions or data is called as a cache or else cache memory. We are not talking about browser cache, we are talking about processor cache. Processor is a component which will be going to maintain special type of memory or a storage capacity. That capacity is nothing but cache memory. Means processor will be going to maintain cache memory. Cache memory is nothing but frequently accessed instructions or data is called as a cache. In coming sessions we will going to understand importance of cache memory from processors. Okay, I hope you guys are understood specifications of processor. That is nothing but processor configuration is nothing but processor speed, width, Fsb speed, cache memory. Before going to purchase laptop, as a user you should must focus on processor speed. One of the important specification from computer is processor speed. If you try to purchase laptop, the laptop processor speed is 1.4 gigahertz speed is, that is minimum speed. At least you need to purchase the laptop processor speed with 3.0 or 3.5 gigahertz speed or else more than 3 gigahertz speed. Maximum available, as per my knowledge, maximum available processor speed from Intel or AMD processors from normal laptops, that might be 4.0 or 4.2. We are talking about only normal computers such as laptops or desktop. You guys are understood very well about processor specifications. Here you can able to see the one type of processor. This processor is generally called as a Xeon processor. The processor name is Xeon. This type of processors are generally used in servers hardware platform. Coming to normal laptops, we will going to use Intel processors or else AMD processor. Here in this picture you can able to see Intel processor, right, but the Intel processor name is Xeon. This is server processor. Clear? I hope most of the viewers understood this session. In this session we discussed about basic hardware components of computer. Under that, first component is processor. In coming sessions we will going to understand in detail about processors and some other components. Thank you for watching this video and this session. My name is Ravindra Sudala. Thank you for watching this session. Have a great day. See you in some other sessions. Bye. Hi everyone, welcome to the Google IT Support Certificate course. In this course we are discussing computer hardware. In this course we are discussing basic computer hardware, right. Earlier we discussed session 1, right, session 1 for basic computer hardware. In previous session we discussed about computer. What is computer? Computer is an electronic device which takes input through the input devices, process it and gives output to the output devices called as a computer. Under that computer, we discussed different components. Basic hardware components of computer is number 1 processor, number 2 primary storage devices, number 3 motherboard, number 4 secondary storage devices, number 5 SMPS, number 6 input devices, number 7 output devices. As per previous session, we discussed about first component, that is processor. Processor is a machine or component which is capable to process given input instructions, right? As per previous session, we discussed processor specifications. What are those processor specifications? First specification of processor is speed. Speed will be going to measures in hertz, right? Second specification of processor is width. Width is nothing but architecture, processor architecture or processor capacity. Third specification of processor is Fsb speed. Fsb speed is nothing but the transportation speed between two or more number of components in the computer is called as a Fsb speed. It's a communication system, right? Fourth specification of processor is cache memory. In coming slides, we will going to discuss about cache memory. Okay, cache memory will be going to measures in kilobytes or megabytes. This is previous session. As per previous session, we have to discuss something more about processor, right? Just look at screen, everybody. This is yesterday's session. Under that yesterday's session, we discussed processor specifications. After that, we discussed processor. Here on the screen, you can able to see the processor type. This is processor is Xeon processor. The processor name is Xeon processor, which is manufactured by Intel company. This type of Xeon processors can be used in server hardware platform. What is the general meaning of server? Server is a computer. What is the noticeable difference between normal computer and server? The noticeable difference between normal computers such as laptop and desktop or server is configuration. In day-to-day human life, normal people will be going to use laptops or desktop. The laptops or desktops configuration is very less. For example, laptop or desktop configuration is processor, only one processor which is available on normal computer hardware platform. The processor speed, it might be 1.0 gigahertz to maximum 4.2 gigahertz. Coming to RAM, available amount of RAM from normal computer is 4 GB or 8 GB or maximum 16 GB or else 32 GB. And coming to storage capacity from normal computer is, with single physical hard disk drive, storage capacity is 1 terabyte or else 2 terabyte. This is normal computer configuration. Here what you understood, generally we are using laptops and desktop. Those laptops and desktop configuration is very less. Those are computers, right? Just compare this normal computers with servers. What is the general meaning of server? Server also one type of computer. Server is a high-end configuration computer. Whenever time comes to differentiate computer and server, especially hardware configuration, server hardware platform is specially designed to host two or more number of processors with different speeds. Coming to normal computers, RAM memory is 4 GB or 8 GB. Coming to servers, RAM memory, it might be 1 terabyte, 2 terabyte, up to maximum 4 terabyte. Storage capacity of server is, it might be petabytes, it might be hexabytes with 2 or more number of physical hard disk drives. What you understood? What is the difference between normal computers and servers? Configuration. Servers are generally called as a high-end configuration computers. Understood? Here on the screen, you can able to identify one processor. The processor is Xeon processor. This type of processors are generally used in servers hardware platform. What about normal computers such as laptops or desktops? You can able to see the normal computer processors. Those computer processors are Intel or AMD processors. Why we are especially discussing about Intel or AMD? There are many processor manufacturing companies are there, Intel, AMD, Qualcomm, VIA, Nvidia, but most of the processor market is occupied by two companies. Those are Intel and AMD. In our laptops or desktop, commonly we can able to identify processor, the processor which is manufactured by Intel or AMD, right? Here you can able to see the different types of processors. This is Intel processors, i3, i5, i7. These i3, i5, i7 processors are manufactured by Intel company. Just look at history of Intel processors. Intel has started to manufacture processors. Those processor, first type of processor from Intel is Pentium 1. Later, Intel has started to manufacture Pentium 2, Pentium 3, Pentium 4. After that, Intel has started to manufacture Pentium Extreme Editions. Those are dual core processors, core to duo processors, quad core processors, core to quadra processors. In current generation computers or laptops, we are using Intel processors. Those are i3 or i5 or i7. Intel has started to latest generation processors. Those are i3, i5, i7. The performance, data processing and computer performance will be going to depends on processor speed and processor type. So that reason Intel has started to manufacture latest type of processors. Those are i3, i5, i7. This is the history of Intel processors. What about AMD? Advanced Micro Devices. This is another company, famous company for manufacturing processors, AMD. AMD has started to manufacture first type of processors, that is K5, K6. Later it has started to manufacture K611, K6111. After that it has started to manufacture Athlon, Duron, Athlon FX, Athlon 64 FX, Athlon different editions. After that AMD has started to manufacture Sempron and Duron, Opetron, different type of processors. Whenever Intel has started to manufacture i3, i5, i7, AMD has started to manufacture latest type of processors. Those are FX 4000 series processors for latest type of computers, and Intel has started to manufacture one more type of processors, that is FX 6000 series processors. Later AMD has started to manufacture one more type of processors. Those are FX 8000 series. FX 4000, 6000, 8000 series processors are competitor processors for Intel i3, i5, i7 processors. This Intel Core i3, i5, i7 processors are generally used in normal computer hardware platform. Okay, or else in normal computer hardware platform we can able to identify AMD processors. Those are FX 4000 series, 6000 or 8000 series processors. This is normal computer hardware platform side. Whenever we differentiate as computer with server hardware platform is specially designed to host 2 or more number of processors. Those processors might be AMD Opetron, those processors might be Intel Xeon processors. These type of processors are very powerful. This type of processors are highly succeeded in global or real production environment. Okay, these were the processors for normal computers and servers. Normal computers processors are i3, i5, i7, and server processors are AMD Opetron or Xeon or different type of processors. Those are barebone processors or else thin client processors. Thank you. And let's see next slide. This is server processors, Intel Xeon 5600 series processors. Server processor, one more processor from AMD is Opetron. These are the two types of processors which can be used in server hardware platform. Okay, I hope you guys are understood about processor. What we discussed about first component of computer, which is processor. Processor is a machine or component which is capable to process given input instructions to produce or deliver output through output devices. And in computer hardware we have to discuss second component. That component is primary storage devices. Second component of computer is primary storage devices. What is the general meaning of primary storage? Primary storage is generally called as a computer running memory. Let's see this primary storage devices, second component of computer. This primary storage is furtherly classified into two types. Those are RAM and ROM. RAM stands for random access memory. ROM stands for read-only memory. Furtherly, this RAM is divided into two types. Number one is static RAM. Number two is dynamic RAM. As per today's session, we have to talk about dynamic RAM. First, we have to discuss dynamic RAM. What is the general meaning of dynamic RAM? Why we need to use dynamic RAM in computers? Let's discuss. Look at screen, everybody. And dynamic RAM, random access memory. This is dynamic RAM. What is this dynamic RAM? Primary storage for a computer. What is the general meaning of primary storage for a computer? Primary storage for a computer is nothing but computer running memory. For example, in order to restart your computer needed boot memory. of during the boot up, computer needs special type of memory. That memory can be used to boot up, that memory can be used to perform post, perform BSL and drivers. So that reason computer will be going to contain one special type of memory. That memory is primary storage. That computer primary storage is nothing but computer running memory, is called as a dynamic RAM. This dynamic RAM is generally called as a volatile memory. Volatile memory is nothing but required power to store the data. To understand second sentence from the slide, we have to go through with example. For example, I am a user. I would like to start one computer. In order to start my computer, computer need power, right? During the startup of computer, during the boot up of computer, computer needed boot memory for post and BSL and drives to retrieve the driver's path during the boot up. So that reason it is called as a volatile memory. Power is required to store the data. For example, one computer has successfully booted with the help of power and primary storage. Whenever computer has successfully loaded with OS, user can able to log in on that computer. If user is logged in particular computer, he can able to make some modifications in the computer. For example, user from computer, you would like to prepare one document. You can able to prepare a document. Whenever user try to create or modify or else to write something information on document, you need power. I would like to prepare one document. I would like to prepare one leave letter. During the typing of a particular letter with the help of document, suddenly what happened? Power cut. In my computer, I don't have any UPS, uninterrupted power supply system. With the help of power, I am running my computer. Suddenly power cut. If power cut happen, what will happen? Pre-created or else during the creation of the document, if power is cut, that time we can't get that pre-created document one more time. The created document will be going to lose. So that reason this primary storage or else dynamic RAM is generally called as a volatile memory. Power is required to store the data. Whenever power is available in the computer, we can able to store the document in hard disk drive on permanent basis. Without saving, without storing the document, suddenly power cut, we never going to get that document. We will going to lose the document. So that reason this primary storage is generally called as a volatile memory. Let's see the dynamic RAM. There are different types of dynamic RAMs can be used in normal computer hardware platform. Those types are these. First type of dynamic RAM is SDRAM, synchronous dynamic RAM. This is the first type of dynamic RAM, that is SDRAM. After that, we can able to we are using one more type of dynamic RAM. The dynamic RAM is DDR RAMs, DDR1 or else DDR RAM, double data rate RAMs. And one more type of dynamic RAM, that is DDR2, double data rate 2. One more type of dynamic RAM, that is DDR3 or else DDR4. In current generation computers, we can able to identify or else we can able to recognize type of dynamic RAM which can be used in latest type of laptops and computers. The type of dynamic RAM is DDR3 or DDR4. Why we are using DDR3 and DDR4? Why? Because the available amount of dynamic RAM memory is more from DDR3 and DDR4. So that reason we are using DDR3 or DDR4 type dynamic RAMs in latest type of laptops or desktops. How to identify type of dynamic RAM in our computers? Generally, identification of RAM will be going to done verifying location of notch. What was that notch location? Everybody look at screen. Here you can able to identify one thing. The slide, first type of dynamic RAM, DDR2 RAM, double data rate 2 RAM. Available number of pins are 240 pins. We are humans, we are unable to count the small or teeny pins on that particular RAM. How many pins are available on the RAM? But we can able to identify type of dynamic RAM based on notch location. Here you can able to see this is a notch location. In DDR1 type RAMs, available notch location is almost right side. What about DDR2 type dynamic RAMs? Available notch location is almost middle location. Okay, coming to DDR3 notch location is slight left. slide left side notch location is available. Here in this screen, don't compare the notch locations on this dynamic RAMs. Here the picture is not properly captured over here, but in order to identify type of dynamic RAM which can be used in computer, we need to remove the back panel of CPU box and remove or unlock dynamic RAM and compare the notch location. If notch is located slight right side, the type of dynamic RAM is generally called as a DDR1. What about DDR2? DDR2 type dynamic RAM notch location is almost middle. What about DDR3 dynamic RAM notch location is almost or a slight left side. Okay, these are the differentiation between DDR1, DDR2, DDR3. Here in this slide you can able to identify DDR2 type dynamic RAM total number of pins are 240. DDR3 dynamic RAM total number of pins are 240. Coming to DDR4 type, latest type of dynamic RAMs, available number of pins is 288 pins. What about the old type, first type dynamic RAM, SDRAM, synchronous dynamic RAM? Total available number of pins from old type of dynamic RAM, which is SDRAM, is 186 pins. What about notch locations? In SD type dynamic RAMs, we can able to identify two notch locations. In DDR2, DDR1, DDR3, DDR4 type dynamic RAMs, available number of notches are only 1. Coming to SDRAMs, available number of notches are 2 notches. Currently in latest type of or is brand new laptops and desktops or computers, we are not using SDRAMs. Either we are using DDR2 or DDR3. The reason is DDR2 and DDR3 or DDR4 type of dynamic RAM will be going to host or maintain huge amount of RAM memory. So that reason we are using latest type of dynamic RAMs in our computer. See, most of the viewers have a doubt. In order to check type of dynamic RAM which can be installed in your computer, no need to remove back panel of CPU box, no need to unlock the dynamic RAM, no need to compare the notch location. Do we have some other shortcut way to identify type of dynamic RAM? Definitely. Look at screen everybody. I am going to show you how to identify type of dynamic RAM which can be installed in your computer. Go to desktop. In desktop, here you can able to see the taskbar. Right click on taskbar. On the taskbar you can able to see task manager. In this task manager you can able to see the performance. What was that? Performance. Whenever you try to open performance tab is there here available. Click on memory. By clicking memory, here you can able to see the type of dynamic RAM which is installed in this computer. Okay, latest type of operating systems. One second. Latest type of operating systems which is Windows 8, 8.1, Windows 10 operating systems. You can able to identify over here form factor or type of dynamic RAM over here. Okay, the list is available. Amount of dynamic RAM which is installed in this computer is available. Moreover, and form factor of dynamic RAM is available. Okay, this is the location. Latest type of operating systems you can able to see over here. Okay. Okay. On the screen you can able to identify notch location. Here two dynamic RAMs are there, notch locations are there. Earlier I said how to identify type of dynamic RAM based on notch comparison. Just follow that way, not this way. Okay, and here you can able to see in the screen type of dynamic RAMs. This type of dynamic RAMs are used in desktops. What was that? Desktop computers. What about this type of dynamic RAMs? Ballistics is one type of dynamic RAM which can be used in server hardware platform. Here on the screen you can able to see one more type of dynamic RAM. This is dynamic RAM. For this type of dynamic RAMs are used in laptops. This is dynamic RAM. Second hardware component, physical component of computer is primary storage. Primary storage is furtherly classified into RAM and ROM. ROM is furtherly divided into two types, static RAM and dynamic RAM. Up to now we discussed about dynamic RAM. Okay, I hope you guys have understood very well about dynamic RAM. And coming to second type of RAM, which is static RAM. What is the static RAM? Let's discuss. Static RAM is generally called as a cache memory, or else static RAM is generally called as a processor memory, or else CPU memory, or else it is called as a hardware memory. This many names are there. Who will be going to maintain this static RAM? Processor will be going to maintain one special type of memory. That memory is called as a static RAM or a cache memory. Okay, you can able to ask a question. That question is nothing but already computer is working with one type of memory, that is computer running memory. That running memory is nothing but dynamic RAM. If computer is running with dynamic RAM, why computer processor will be going to maintain one more type of RAM? What is the requirement of second type of RAM which can be used by processor? Let's discuss little bit about static RAM. Generally, processor is a high speed device. It will be going to process given input instructions in a faster manner. Dynamic RAM is unable to match the speed of processor. Hence, processor required special type of memory. That memory is called as a static RAM. That is nothing but in order to process given input instructions, processor will be going to maintain special type of memory. That memory is called as a static RAM. The RAM is called as a cache memory. The size of the static RAM is small, but it is faster. How much amount of memory we can able to expect that memory is static RAM from processor? It might be 1 KB, 2 KB, or as 3 KB, or as minimum in computers. It will be going to start with 1 KB and maximum is 8 MB. I am talking about normal computers. The normal computers from HP or Dell or Lenovo or whatever it is, the computers which are used for individual purpose, those computers contains cache memory. The maximum amount of cache memory is 8 MB. It depends on processor and depends on processor type, depends on processor speed. Manufacturer will be going to specify some amount of cache memory. I am using one laptop. In my laptop, available amount of static RAM is only 1 MB. If I purchase i7 processor brand new laptop from Dell, based on that configuration of laptop, I can able to get maximum amount of cache memory. It might be 8 MB. My doubt is why processor will be going to maintain special type of memory which is called as a static RAM. What is the use of static RAM from processor? Let's discuss little bit about importance of static RAM. Processor is a high speed device. It will be going to process given input instructions in a faster manner. Dynamic RAM unable to match the speed of processor. Hence, processor requires special type of memory. The memory is called as a static RAM. Again, my doubt is still there. Why processor will be going to maintain special type of memory which is static RAM? Processor will be going to access collected input instructions from dynamic RAM. What is dynamic RAM? Dynamic RAM is a computer running memory. It is responsible to collect the given input instructions on computer. User will be going to give instructions by using input devices. Given input instructions will be collected by dynamic RAM. Those collected input instructions will be accessed by processor. In order to access collected input instructions from RAM, processor will be going to use a special type of memory. That memory is called as a static RAM. Simple meaning, simple word to express importance of static RAM from processor is to reduce the time to access collected input instructions from dynamic RAM. Processor will be going to use as cache memory or static RAM. This is the first purpose. Second purpose to using static RAM by processor is to reduce average cost. What is the general meaning of average cost? Average cost is equal time plus energy. Just go through with example to reduce average cost by processor. For example, I am a user. I am working in this computer. I would like to give input instruction which is 2 plus 3. Given input instruction which is 2 plus 3 will be collected by dynamic RAM. Processor, another component from the computer which is processor, will be going to access collected input instructions from dynamic RAM. In example, 2 plus 3. To access that collected input instructions from dynamic RAM, processor will be going to use as static RAM. Once it has accessed collected input instructions from dynamic RAM, processor itself, it will be going to spend some time and energy to process collected input instructions. Processor itself, it will be going to process accessed input instructions such as 2 plus 3 by spending time and energy. Finally, processor will be going to deliver output which is 5 through output devices. In this process, what actually happening? Processor is spending some time and energy to process given input instructions. Understood? Or else just go through with one more example. I am a person. I would like to assign one work or task to you. The task is, I need a contact number of particular manager. We both are working in one company. For example, I am a project director. I need contact number of particular project manager. Under that, one of my subordinate is there. I assign one task to him. The task is, I need a contact number of manager of this project. Definitely that person will be going to spend some time and energy to take the contact number of particular manager. He will going to walk out, he will going to visit the particular manager cabin, and he will going to take contact number. He will return back, he will going to give that contact number to me. To finish this assigned task, that user has spent some valuable time, moreover is spent his body energy to finish that assigned task. The same way, whenever processor access input instructions, to process that collected input instructions, processor will be going to spend some time and energy. The time and energy is generally called as a average cost. For example, user first time gave input instruction which is 2 plus 3 will be going to accessed by processor from dynamic RAM. Processor itself, it will be going to process 2 plus 3 given input instruction by spending time and energy, that is called as a average cost first time. First time processor will be going to waste time and energy. It will finally be going to give the output is 5 through output devices. Again user has gave a input instruction, same input instruction which is 2 plus 3 after an half an hour or 1 hour without shutdowning computer. Second time user has gave a 2 plus 3 input instruction. Given input instructions will be collected by RAM. Those will be accessed by processor. Finally, processor will be going to process that given input instruction. In this case, second time processor will be going to act as intelligent. It will be going to check the cache memory. It will be going to verify, did I process this 2 plus 3 given input instructions earlier or not. Definitely that previously or earlier processed input instructions 2 plus 3 is available on cache memory of processor. This time processor, second time processor never going to spend time and energy to process 2 plus 3. Blindly it will be going to give output is 5 by verifying cache memory. In second time processor is acting like intelligent. Moreover, it is reducing average cost with the help